Oh, now listen to me begging, now me begging, now me begging, now me begging, now. Oh, now listen to me begging, now. Begging, now me begging, now me begging, now. Oh, now listen to me begging, now. Not begging, now me begging, now me begging, now. Thanks and praise. Welcome back, dissidents. Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's roll right into it. I consider often how I fail to bring new viewership up to speed on the systems that we draw upon. And very quickly, I want to flash a few images regarding the slick, distant, original logismoi that I bring down off the shelf ever so often. One of which is the Diction of Aries. It is the alphabet laid out on the pagan arrangement of the heavens, starting with A at the spring equinox. It completes 26 letters plus the ampersand. I put the ampersand as number 27 at the very bottom, at the zygote of Z. And you have a birth cycle. You have a birth planchette. And the remaining, 90 degrees to complete the circle, those are your missing numbers. That's your 1 through 9. That's your coins. That's your diamonds. That's your winter seasons. That's when you need to be frugal. You got to be cunning to get through the winter months. And all of the celestial mechanics are flawlessly giving you instructions on how to survive. It's wonderful. That's why Brigitte is down there, y'all. Better know how to cook. All right. So, Diction of Aries. And I'm just going to flash the territories. And the territories have rewarded me 100,000 ways. I can't even go on for on and on and on and on. How it anchors in. And so these are zodiacal. And when people come to the Enneagram, there is a first layer of the Enneagram, just simply cards 1 through 9, that are a pretty good fit for the zodiac. You basically put your fall equinox, your Virgo, at the top, and you put your summer equinox, your spring equinox at the bottom, and you basically are looking at the tarot cards fitting pretty soundly on the first layer around the Enneagram. So there is a correspondence on the first layer to the zodiac on the Enneagram. But some of the other systems I'm dabbling in at the moment are much more advanced. I am looking at the meteor shower cycle, which, as I always mention, the time in chronology that is linear going around the circle, but the meteor showers that pop off are not linear. I think of this as whack-a-mole, because these, or stage lights, psychedelic stage light progression that pops off in the zodiac every year at this pretty much the same time. And the thing I love about the meteor showers is they happen over different durations of windows. And the word windows is on the star card, and it has everything to do with influence and influenza, because they believed that the stars were flying through your window to your soul to make you sick. And after nocebo Tao made ritual, I think we could soundly agree that they do create a great amount of distress through the windows. And there's plausible deniability because you looked at it, just like the Ark and Indiana Jones. Keep your eyes shut. What was her name? Marilyn? Keep your eyes shut, Marilyn. Anyway. All right. Oh, I have so much to say. Most of what I want to present today is going to have to do with Leviathan. I'm going to keep this concise if I can. Envy is the infernal name for Leviathan. Number 4 personality type is a individual, fascinating word, with the shadow of envy, and the infernal name for envy is Leviathan. Their remedial virtue is kindness. But that word is actually a little, it's not potent. It's not real potent. Um, but that's what the book is. That's where the book is at now. Um, I wonder about, selfless and altruistic. I wonder if those are good words down here. That the remedial virtue might be altruism because of the Leviathan. Because of the Leviathan is also the social contract that keeps a community together. The um, yeah, it's a social contract that is not really a contract. This Leviathan. It went from Hobbes, and then Jean-Jacques Rousseau picked it up and threw away the birthright of kings when Jean-Jacques Rousseau picked it up and forwarded it as something else. He threw away the birthright of kings. Um, yeah, there's something placental about that between Hobbes and uh, Jean-Jacques Rousseau's picking up the Leviathan. Let's think about the green with envy also. On the first layer, uh, on the number 4, we had the Emperor card, which is very orange. Um, and almost, somewhat maybe opposite of green. But the other card down here was card number 13, was the Death card, was totally green. So yeah, Emperor card and Death card on the first setup. The Emperor and the Death card were in number 4. And I'm thinking about green with envy, thinking about the social contract, almost as though Thomas Hobbes' social contract might be the Emperor card. The Emperor is an anagram for hero Trump, orange man bad. The green Death card in the number 4 spot, could this be Jean-Jacques Rousseau's uh, uh, amputating the birthright of the king for a new social contract? Between the hero Trump and the Death card, is that where we lost the birthright of kings? Is this the placental cut? So, Leviathan. I was weaving on this with the roundtable. Big up, fellas. Much love, Franklin. About how during election season, Leviathan is lighting up on the meteor shower cycle every year, and it's a large window. Leviathan is the south toward meteor showers are ripping up the spine of Cetus, the Cetus monster, over in the spring, pretty much in Pisces, in moving into Aries. And this meteor shower is running up the back of a sea monster if you watch it progress through Stellarium. And I'm thinking about all of these things as cinematic structures, scaffolding that we've seen played out 100,000 times. That's what we call them, archetypes. And I'm thinking about just like when the Chechen Shan meteor shower chopped the head off of Draco, I'm thinking about another hero running up the back of a monster and stabbing it in its head. Is this the hero Trump? Is this the Emperor we're hoping will come and uh, save the day when we go and vote? Is this your joiner to your Cetus synship? The Cetus sign shape is lighting up when people give joiner to the social contract. So another thing, the glyph on the Emperor card is Tazadi. Tazadi means fish hook. Fish hook is said many times, many places, one of which, the most potent of which, is Job 41. Can you draw out the Leviathan? And so I'm looking at Job 41 right next to the social contract as it is kept in the American Historical Association's copy online. I'm looking at Job 41. I'm looking at the social contract as it stands today. And I'm seeing amazing correspondence to the work I'm doing with the Enneagram and the Muses. Going back to Plato's Republic, I'm seeing powerful correspondences. So I want to go from the social contract of Job 41 and the Leviathan, and I want to drum up some wild stars that are happening right now. Green with envy. Green with envy. Just keeping that in my mind because it does seem to be repackaged and served in a really potent multi-layered uh, 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 web of interoperability. I heard this word, interoperability. I'm like, whoa, the Enneagram is a web of interoperability with shifting situational gravity. You know, there's so many beautiful ways to speak about what this beautiful web does in our exchange of information and expectation. So green, also green with envy seems to correspond to the meteor showers. They come in all different shades and colors, but almost all the ones I've seen myself were mostly green. Apparently, they come in all colors for all different reasons, but most of the ones I've seen are green, and they just so remind me of, you know, the numbers raining down in the matrix, hieroglyphs in the back of the birth certificate. It's really wild. You know, I'm wondering if I could even take off with the idea that the meteor showers are the endocrine system of the planet, and that they're coming from different ventricles to keep our chi in a interoperability. Keep our chi in interoperability. Another name was, you know, functional duality with functional duality with operational success. Yeah. So the homunculus of the masses, the tropical, large scale model of a general will, the general will is different from the individual will. And this dance between the masses and the single person, it is this disassociation is the dividing line between objective and subjective. And oftentimes I feel like kind of an asshole making claims on what is objective, because everybody nowadays is like, oh, but that's what it means to you. Very Freudian, very analytic, not very continental mindset, you know? Yeah. And I feel like a dick sometimes, uh, trying to convince people that they were engaged in tarot readings uh, in the subtext, in the undisclosed terms of the agreement. That when we go into an entertainment, that we've been going into entrainment, and there's a Fichterflugen of general will being manipulated behind the screen. And most people want the tarot cards to be a vanity. They want it to be what they make of it. They want it to be about them. They want it to give them the signs and the signals and the synchronicities that drive them personally to their symbolic bias. And I feel like a dick coming along and being like, listen, y'all, all the movies are working these egregores, these muses, these chemistry sets that we all have. Some have more of one flavor than the other in a certain way that could constitute two different races of humanity, the estrogen to the testosterone. That could be the only true racial divide there is. And everything else is just genetics and culture. You know? This divide between the 6 and the 7, 76 years, that's Haley's comet. That's her cycle, her number. So yeah, the split between men and women, testosterone and estrogen, odd even. I'm thinking about it very deeply, y'all. Thinking about it very deeply. Right now, okay, so I went and I watched the Justice League, and I watched the Nietzschean dodging the bullet that Trump did. It's back and to the left. And I'm like, this is so fascinating. And also, we watched, so it was happening. The Trump shooting was on the 7th day of Navaratri, Kalratri's day, that he took this near hit, this near shot to the ear. And Kalratri is the Devi of natural disasters. And then, sure enough, that was when the moon was on Spica, is when he got an earshot with this Calliope Navaratri day. Then it was the next assassin. It was Venus on Spica when he was also dodging another bullet. And then there was a third one. There's 3 hobos on the grass, right? So Woody Harrelson's lineage has been appeased. Okay. Now, at the moment, right now, the moon is not on Spica. The moon just went past the ear of Virgo just now, yesterday. It's probably progressed considerably, 13 degrees per day. And this is neat because it's not the same ear as the Ubermensch dodge. Superman is the Great Diamond, by the way. While this is the Libra constellation, there is the Great Diamond encoded here too, which is more Virgo, actually. The Great Diamond is more Virgo. It's not very Libra at all. But I do see that asterism encoded in this card. And it has to do with the adamantine gate that Satan came through in Milton's Paradise Lost. The adamantine gate is very proximal to Virgo. It attaches to Spica, but the moon is just passing through by the ear of Virgo. And the guys and I have woven on the fact that is the X of the equinox on the elliptic plane. And it resembles to me the hostage situation that you are shooting over the shoulder of a maiden, taking a maiden hostage. I've actually trained in this situation where you it's horrible. It's horrible. I would never do this. But engaging in your decision making in the heat of the moment of truly being adrenalized is in a safe environment is fascinating, because it was psychological to me to deal with hostage situations and to even presume to shoot at a bodyguard, at a human shield, to shoot over the shoulder of a human shield. I've seen it in Hollywood. We've all seen it a billion times. It is a cosmodrama. It's a cosmodrama. We're playing out this shot past the ear where the equinox is just over the shoulder of the Virgin. It's so potent. So the moon is there right now. The sun is in Scorpio, and Mercury is on Ophiuchus's knee. And Venus is at the elbow of Sagittarius. Almost like Sagittarius is drawing to shoot through the elbow of Sagittarius has Venus on it, as though the woman, Venus, is drawing this bow now. And it shoots right through Ophiuchus, where Mercury is on JFK Day, and then it goes through the sun of Scorpio, and then it hits the moon right past the ear of the Virgin, but it's the other side of her head. It's the opposite of where Donald Trump has been dodging. So there's almost a masculine, this is the masculine head of the Cadmon, Adam Cadmon. The masculine head is the JFK dodge, but the female head is on the other side. The split between the left and the right brain has been being ritualized. So I want to talk about the Nietzschean Doge. He doged the bullet. And there's something of a signaling. There's something of a signaling, dodging the bullet. And the fact that the moon is actually on the other side of the Virgin's head. It really plays into my theory that because they're dancing in the Navaratri cycles very powerfully, that they're actually targeting the women. They're almost giving instruction for the masculine mind to move into the feminine mind. That's what I see. And just yesterday, big up Zerlath, what's his name? Jonathan Majors. The charges were dropped. Subconscious. The subconscious. Dropping anchors, y'all. Charges were dropped on Jonathan Majors. And so I looked at the stars right away because Jonathan Majors, he in Loki, God, I could go all night. His mundane, Victor Timely persona is the death card number 4 in Leviathan, green with envy, with all of his inventions and innovations, and let's all invest into electricity. His ascended self was the Don Lemon card in his high castle, number one, and he's up there wheeling and dealing and spinning a yarn in his ascended aspect. So Victor Timely Mundane was death card number 4. His ascended self is number 1. And Adolf Hitler has actually made the statement that the conflating of the general will of the masses is uh, is an enantiodromic, self-canceling, trite cliche away from your ego. This thread is the Victorflugen, the general will of the masses, and it's confused for the ego on the individual scale. So the homunculus of the tropical is the general will right here. But on the sidereal of the individual is your ego. All right. So yeah, the Nietzschean Doge is, I think, signaling the masculine mind into the feminine mind. And also, there's a film about to come out, Wicked. Wicked is about to come out. And some of the art around Wicked is basically the Wicked Witch getting whispers in her ear. That's FEMA. That's FEMA. Rumors. They're literally pantomiming the goddess's essence by depicting rumors. And this weave is so huge and so vast, but back when on 9-9, pretty much where the moon is right now by the Virgo, very correspondent, is when Darth Vader died, when the demonic voice of Friedrich Nietzsche died and Uranus went into retrograde. Also, 9 times 9 is thallium. It's the poisoner's poison. Go back and watch my video on James Earl Jones' death date. 9-9 is thallium. That's the poisoner's poison. So after the hero Trump slays the Leviathan, or is attempting to slay the Leviathan, we get these rumors of poisoning your husband. This split between man and woman, it is really wild. And so Wicked is coming out, and there's whispers of, oh, maybe we should thallium up, y'all. It is so potent. It is so potent. Also, the word wicked is embedded into, this is weird, it's a type of rhetorical technique. I can't even pronounce it. But one of the examples of this rhetorical technique is basically, it's the fragmentation of words out of order. And it is basically the language that Yoda speaks. This rhetorical technique is native Yoda. And, get ready, y'all, the Fitzgerald translation of the epics, when you read the Fitzgerald translation, it reads in native Yoda language. That translation of the epics is transmitted through the native language of Yoda, fragmented, broken sequencing. It's out of sequence, just like an anagram, just like the Greeks used to read their words in any scattered order because the verb had the power to command the language. Yeah, so Yoda raising the vessel, the shape, out of the swamp. Yeah, I see a lot lost in translation between the Fitzgerald. And there's a poem. I'll just bring up the graphic about when I prick my thumb, something wicked this way comes. That's native Yoda language. And so the Wicked play that is about to come out is totally, what's it called? Lysistrata. Lysistrata is the Aristophanes play, the Leviathan play that is totally the symbolic bedrock that we are all going to need literacy on, because the women, they refuse to have sex with the men, and they go on sex strike, and they target the exchequer and the banks, and they think they can break the banks so that the wars will stop, and it makes all hell break loose. But there's a raising of standards, so raising of standards. Read Lysistrata and understand, overstand, that the erotica in our language You don't have to read Greek. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to read Greek. Study that play, because they're going to pull these enantiodromic self-canceling cliches left and right in the narrative coming forward. And Lysistrata is the battle flag that is raising the standards. That's going to be the new trigger phrase, y'all. Raise your stand hard. Raise your stand hards. All right, Hanged Man. This is nuts. This is nuts. Oh, I didn't even get into Eros Unchained. Okay, I'm just going to fire this off. I highly recommend Mauricio Loza's Eros Unchained, the relationship between eroticism and modern systems of mental manipulation. Go read that and consider what I'm saying about Black's Law Dictionary is an occulted Kama Sutra. Also read or find or study Juan Pedro Culiano. And his book was Eros and Magic in the Renaissance. That rabbit hole is really fortifying for the theory that Black's Law Dictionary is an occulted Kama Sutra. I'm just going to pay that. I'm going to give y'all homework. Y'all got homework. All right. Hanged Man card, Harry Houdini. This is a trip. This is such a trip. I have over-analyzed Ophiuchus more than anybody. I have over-analyzed Ophiuchus because it's JFK Day. Popped off November 22nd. And right now we are in Monosaurus meteor shower. That is also an aspect of JFK week. Communing with Thanksgiving is all during Monosaurus and Monosaurus meteor showers. And that just added almost toppled the whole tower for me, because this Hanged Man of Ophiuchus has been already packed with meaning. It's too much. It's too much. But the meteor showers of Monosaurus are popping off right now. They're kind of fading out. And all of the JFK energy is blowing my mind. How this linchpin segment of the sky seems to be something of a sweep the leg Johnny. So I just want to say, part of the hero spell I always thought was just about the costume. That, you make people aspire to some sort of sacred armor, like Achilles in the beginning of the Iliad. Sacred armor. It's like, okay, yeah, so this costume thing is all about sacred armor. And I'm like, well, actually, this is the costume department of Hollywood. That's what the sacred armor is about. You covet this immunity, and it's dressed up as these tarot cards. But then I'm also contemplating how all of the Queen's men were dressed up as cards. And all of the spies have a real hard-on for George Ophiuchus here, this constellation. And the constellation looks just like the characters in Alice in Wonderland. All of the agents are running around dressed up as cards. So I'm seeing Ophiuchus as the inevitable individual kind of taking law into their own hands, or coming to a level of self-governance and identifying with their own hero of sorts. And somehow this is also correspondent to your government ID, to the ZinKronous, and identifying with this Ophiuchus hero, this scapegoat. If you're going to escape society, then you're going to be the only one who's launching off of the elliptic plane. You make a Judas out of yourself. All of these things are embedded into this card right here. And what's a trip is, this is Peter Parkour, Agent 488, the Avenger of Philemon. Much of Carl Jung's Alan Dulles handled lineage is instilled into the scapegoating. And I don't think Carl Jung would approve of what culture has made out of his collective web, this fictional overlay of collectivism that they've given us. I think Carl Jung wants us to find the zygote And I think Alan Dulles wants us to find the zeitgeist. That is a fascinating difference, and it's linchpinned into this symbol right here. This is the meter that the Ghostbusters hold to detect the ghosts. Beep, 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 beep. This is your spidey senses. And they're tingling like a mofo nowadays, right? They're tingling like a mofo. Even the other hangmans have the halo around the head of this character. It's both the letters from Harry Houdini's mother that he buried his head like a pillow on top of her letters, but it's also Spider-Man's tingling senses. Harry Houdini was fascinating. Go check out Walter Bosley. He has made a great case that Harry Houdini was murdered by none other than H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft is the Apollo. Houdini is the Neptune and the Dionysus. They are 3 and the 6. The 3 and the 6. Houdini, H.P. Lovecraft killed Houdini, poisoned him. No shit, y'all. Check this out. Check this out. H.P. Lovecraft killed Houdini. Houdini is the hangman like you wouldn't even believe. And even his real name, his birth name, rhymes perfectly with Eryximachus. So he was in the 3 position. When I move the primes, he goes from number 3 on the first layer of presentational immediacy. But when I reduce to the primes, he becomes a number 2. He moves into this number 2 spot. And there's something going on. We're turning some keys. We're picking some locks with this. Harry Houdini, the reason it is thought that he was murdered by H.P. Lovecraft was because he was shutting down the mediumship movement. I think that is very much like the Rider-Waite old La Familia Internationale and a lot of the Rosicrucians had a lot invested in the mediumship. Harry Houdini comes along with this strongman Wim Hof method and shows how excellent, how powerful we can be without any lies, just pure brute strength and of willpower. Part of him holding his breath underwater, being castrated gives an increased lung capacity, hugely increased lung capacity, being castrated. Sorry, hate to break it to you, but castratis can hold their breath longer than anybody else. All right. Yeah. Also, Eryximachus was the physician, and Paracelsus. He's the godfather of holistic medicine. Holistic medicine. Paracelsus was a castrati. They chopped him so he wouldn't transmit diseases when he traveled. That was his daddy's choice. They lived in a bottleneck part of the roads in the hills where a lot of sexually transmitted diseases were so hazardous, he just chopped his boy's junk off. Godfather of holistic medicine, Paracelsus, number 3. All right. So I'm going to bring alignment of the heavens with Venus shooting through Mercury on the knee of Capricorn, on the knee of Ophiuchus. This is not only Carl Jung and Philemon, Spider-Man, and this is not only your spider senses of the Ghostbuster mechanism that is the flux capacitor. This is also Harrison Ford in the Star Wars film that was tortured. And captured by Boba Fett, who is the spider. So there's even consistency with the spider is the adjustment card. This is Boba Fett. Here's Boba Fett. Here's Han Solo when he's captured and put into carbonite and tortured. So there's even consistency that it is the spider who captures the hanged man, who's hanging in the web of collective consciousness. What if this is Carl Jung, and what if that's Dulles? What if Dulles is the Men are born free, yet everywhere they would go, they are enchained, yet those who would control others are more so enchained themselves. What if this is Dulles and this is Young? Very fascinating potentialities there. And again, I'm going to say, y'all, maybe it's a time to decolonialize your analytic philosophy and get into continental philosophy to see a little behind the curtain. Yeah. So, Lysistrata and the Poisoner's Poison of the Nietzschean Skywalker James Earl Jones death date is just dividing the genders. And it's actually where men are being prompted to switch into the female Adam Kadmon, where the moon is whispering in the ear right now as Jonathan Major has his charges dropped. I want to say this. That word major, right? We're kind of in the Surgeon General's dominion here, maybe. Maybe we're under the major to be in the Surgeon General's dominion. In the social contract, I think the part that I object with the most is general suffrage. That's where the church is slipping through. In the social contract, we are agreeing to endure, to take on, to suffer the passions of contradictions. These Enantiodromic self-canceling cliches are steeped in contradictions. Again, with, I don't know if I said it in this episode, the difference between shepherd and captured. Even in Egyptian language, there's a shepherd's crook. And if you turn it one way, it means you're the shepherd. Yeah, you're the king, you're the boss. But you mistranslate it by one little degree and you flip the shepherd's crook, you become the captured. Are you a king? Are you a dog king? What spirits are you answering to? Yeah. All right. Harry Houdini is an analog directly to Han Solo, is an analog directly to the Hangman card. There is the Harry Houdini Museum is in Scranton. The Harry Houdini Museum is in Scranton. This, I believe, is the immunization of the eschaton. This is the immunization of the eschaton. And I think that the collective web and our sympathetic resonance to Harrison Ford, to Peter Parkour, to a centralized rooftop swinging city slicker, I think it is rooting to this museum in Scranton. And I have a lot more research to do around that, but it is fascinating to no end that the Hangman card that represents the Bermuda Triangle is egregorically entangled in Scranton, Illinois. Pennsylvania. Scranton in reverse is not narcs. The Harrison Ford torture scene was actually removed from later generations. They don't realize that some of the earlier Star Wars, they were showing Harrison Ford get tortured. It was intense, just like Harry Houdini, where you hold your breath while he endures. Yeah, a lot of scapegoating and the channeling of vitriol into this fascinating symbol. All right. The difference between the zygote and the zeitgeist. The difference between the Carl Jung and the Alan Dulles. Between the sidereal and the tropical. The micro and the macro. Yeah. All right, y'all. A whole lot of symbols popping off right now. And that green with envy, with Wicked, the movie Wicked. I don't think I'm going to watch it. I think the whole thing is going to be a poison pill to the utmost. Somebody might bend my arm down the road, but I'll be drinking my turpentine first, that's for sure. Keeping my spiritual prophylactics doubled up. All right. Love and respect.